Hi, I'm Shantanu Sharma and I'm the AMP magazine's author of the month for March. The pandemic came with its own challenges. Um, of course, a lot more than medical challenges. It gave us a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, something we didn't ask for. But again, a lot of us made the extra effort and found these zones of comfort for ourselves where we felt safe, where we felt sane, and where the stress did not affect us as much. For me, this space was my meditation in the morning. I've always been an early riser and not been too much of a meditation person, but over the last year and a half, I've started meditating in the morning. It was not easy, and it took some time for me to come out of those loud conversations in my head to more stable, more quieter place inside, which helped me deal with the stress and anxiety that I was having during this time. If anybody is under stress and tension, I do advise them meditation now, and I would do that for sure. It helps a lot. It has definitely helped me remain sane through this time. So meditation in the morning is one thing that keeps me sane. I've heard a lot of people say mind over matter. I've quoted myself a lot of times that what you think will happen and what you really want is what you will get. If that isn't mental health, then what is? We take care so much about our physical health, and we take care so much about the amount of calories we eat and our heart condition and our lungs condition and our knee conditions. A lot of times we ignore the thing that matters a lot more: our mind, our mental state. And because we don't accept it, not that we don't understand it, we don't accept it, is how problems start happening. A simple anxiety to a most complex mental health problem, all of them need to be tackled and all of them need to be addressed. So mental health is defined and defines for me how we truly are inside, what we think, how we behave, and what we feel. Until that is at an optimum level, we really cannot be totally healthy. If I have to think about a metaphor for mental health or for state of mind, in my head I think our mental health is always like the engine of a car. If the engine is not running properly, the car will not. Especially in today's times when we have smart cars and we have cars that are dependent on the engine and they derive a lot of other things other than just running the car. Similarly, in today's life, our mind is not just helping us deal with everyday situations. Our mind is loaded with so much information that it needs to function effectively. It needs to work perfectly as the engine of a car to help the car running. And I think that is what truly describes mental health or state of mind in my opinion. Being a writer brings a lot of different kind of mental rigors with it. A lot of small mental tasks that you do with yourself, which involve a lot of things. So I write multiple kind of books. I write fiction, I write non-fiction, I write about mental health, I write about physical health, I write stories which are thrillers, romance. And when I go through all of this, there are a lot of emotions that I go through. There are a lot of emotions that all writers go through. Sometimes you get ideas bang in the middle of the night. Sometimes you get ideas while you're driving. Sometimes you get ideas early in the morning when you wake up. But a lot of mental energy and a lot of effort goes into writing a book. And I would believe a lot of mental rigor in this involves going through a lot of different emotions and a lot of things inside your head, which I think is a bit of a challenge, but it's also the fun of writing. In addition to being a writer, I'm also a professional. I work in marketing and I have long hours. I have difficult hours at times, stressful work, and it's sometimes very difficult to balance between the two. But I always find time for writing, and I like to write something every day, whether it is a single sentence, a single paragraph. It could be a one page, which means nothing to me the next day, but I make it a point to write something every day because that keeps the writer inside me moving forward. Because it's very easy for us to get lost in our work, get lost in what we do for earning our bread, so as to say, and somewhere the passion inside us and what we really want to do dies out. And I don't want to do that, so I make it a point to write something every day, or at least read something which I would maybe take up as inspiration. And I'm an avid reader. I ensure that I'm always seen with a book. So I read a lot, I write a lot, and I try to find a balance in that sense. Honestly, going to a mental health professional is still considered a very big stigma. And other than having a mental health disorder, being stigmatized like this, I think is an added mental health issue. I know so many people who have gone to a therapist for their depression, for their anxiety, and for their panic attacks, etc. And I really don't know the in-depth diagnosis or the in-depth understanding of what exactly it means, but I can say with a lot of surety and with a lot of confidence that it's like any other health problem. If you have a knee pain, you go to a doctor. Similarly, if you have some problem that of your thinking, you will go to a therapist who can help you out, who's a professional who can really understand what you're going through and solve it for you. I think we should not look at it in terms of saying that somebody is mad or somebody is deranged or something like that, because I think those are very negative words to use. It is just that somebody is going through a problem. Just like somebody goes through a heart problem, or somebody goes through surgery, or somebody goes through, forget medical, if someone is going through taxation problems, you go to a CA and try to solve it. Similarly, if you have a mental health issue, you go to a therapist and you solve it. I think that is how it should be approached, that is how it should be looked at, and which is why I don't think there's any shame in going to a therapist at all. I think our mind is such a beautiful thing made by God, and there is so much that is beautiful about it. Dreams, thoughts, our ability to categorize things into multiple things, the fact that I'm able to move my fingers when I want to. I think it's just a whole universe in itself, and it's sometimes what fascinates me the most about the mind is how it can imagine and visualize things which are not really in front of you. So lots of fascinating things about the mind, but according to me, the most fascinating thing is the imagination. First off, I'm proud to be part of the selection panel in this month, and when I look at the articles or the text that comes in for selection, I will be looking at multiple things, of course, but I think one of the most important things that I'll be looking for is the structure of how the article or the story is and whether it moves something inside me. For me, it's very important that I feel something when I read the story. I should be able to visualize, see it, see things happening in front of me. Or if it's something that is deeper and something that means a lot more, then I should be able to see that meaning straight off. Of course, there are other considerations like text, grammar, all of that, but I think the most important element that I personally would be looking for is that stirring of something inside me. And that will be my primary thing that I look for.